Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brothers and sisters, Friday announcements and few dua requests. Today is the third Friday, so tonight inshallah we'll have the family night. There'll be food vendor outside, so bring your family and friends inshallah. On Saturday, November 18th, from Maghrib to Isha, we have a visiting scholar, Maulana Bilal Ansari, from Darul Qasim, Chicago. He will give a talk about Sahih al-Bukhari, an introduction to the book and its author. So it will be very beneficial, so please come inshallah. Monthly Youth Qiyam is coming on December 1st. Sheikh Arsalan will be leading inshallah. Inter soccer camp, we still have few seats available, so if you have children at the age of 6 to 13, please check in the office. Now dua request. Dua for Maghfirah for Sister Mahmuda who passed away in St. Louis. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Dua for Maghfirah for Brother Dawood Majid who passed away. He is the son of Brother Abdul Latif. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Also one of our regular Musalli, Brother Osman, his brother Muhammad Badiul Alam passed away in Bangladesh. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. May Allah grant all of them Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah forgive all of their shortcomings. And may Allah give the family sabr inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدًا عبد الله ورسوله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة، فجزاه الله عنا وعن كل المسلمين خيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, why is it so hard for the truth to prevail in a world full of lies and deceit? The sheer hypocrisy, the blatant double standards, and the inhumane treatment, all of which we are witnessing, is imprinting a traumatic memory in each of our psyches. In the midst of it all, justice has failed once again. A pastor can call for the immediate converting of an entire land into a parking lot, and it can be deemed freedom of speech. Elected officials can call for the killing of a whole people, And others can justify that call by equating them to Nazi civilians, resulting in demands for the need to finish the job once and for all. As Muslims, we are left dumbfounded. We are left alone. The world has turned its back on us once again. The titles justifying the ill treatment have returned, and humanity has forgotten who you are only to believe who others portray you to be. Where do I go? What do I do? And how long can I bear this? We must answer these three questions collectively today, insha'Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Fellow ummatis of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we turn to the first. If we've gone through the list of people and resources, places and mediums that we felt, we're going to speak our message and uphold our cries and calls. I'm sure by now you can scratch each person or organization off. But if there's one left on that list, I'm confident it is Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't betrayed us, and He never will. If I need to go somewhere now, I need to go to my Allah. I must retreat to Him, find comfort in Him, seek solace from Him, and allow Him to relieve my pain and my anxiety. But it's human to feel the following, that if I'm supposed to go to Allah with all these hopes, He must do something for us all, right? He must do something. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who speaks that my help is near. Then the question I have nothing against going to Allah and handing my affairs to Allah. I'll do that in a heartbeat. But the question I have is, how come we can't see the help of Allah? How come we can't feel the help of Allah? How come that hope is being chipped away every second and every hour that passes from every day? My fellow Muslims, the help of Allah is at an arm's reach. What is missing are the requirements to obtain it. Allow me a few minutes to expand on this. And that takes us to the second question. Allah's help will come only if we become the recipients and not the obstruction. We must do that which will bring His help, abstain from that which will take away His help, and prevent ourselves from those ways which will stop His help. There are three stories in our history and in the Quran that paint the entire picture. What will bring the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What will bring the help? We turn to the first of three stories. It is the story of the Battle of Badr, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine aid and assistance descended, as we all know very well. But what led to that divine assistance coming down was three things. Number one is patience. Patience that doesn't allow you to turn bitter as others have become bitter against you. It is written that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sitting in his tent the night before the Battle of Badr. And the advantage the Muslims had on that ground where they pitched their tent was they had access to water. The disbelievers, the mushrikeen of Makkah, who are prepared to fight, did not. And so they sent some of their men to ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam if they could have access to water. and He permitted them to take. Ask yourself, as you see imagery and videos bombarding your social media and your WhatsApp of inhumane, grotesque happenings on the ground, if someone came to you for water, would your heart be open enough to give them a drop of water? I don't think so. Because I've seen videos where they're pumping cement into wells to dry up those wells so no one can drink water. How dare you come to me and ask me for water? But that's not a Muslim. Doesn't make sense. The anger and the rage is boiling in my veins, and you're telling me that if someone comes to me after all that I've witnessed of inhumane treatment, you're telling me to treat them in a humane fashion? Yes, that is what our deen says, not what our emotions say. Sabr is not knowing what's to come, not prepared fully for the brunt of the storm, but you rely on Allah and continue to be who you are, not what others want you to be. Sabr. Number 2, taqwa. Our world today has made taqwa and piety a standard that's so hard to reach, as if there are a few mullahs and scholars or whatever pious people on this earth who are muttaqeen and the rest of us are sinners. Wake up and snap out of that. There's no superiority in our religion that someone is better and the rest of worse. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Who is more noble and honorable in the sight of Allah? The one who has taqwa. Each of us should have taqwa. Each of us can have taqwa. And each of us must embrace taqwa. Now, give me an example of what taqwa looks like. You know how you feel in Ramadan? Feel it now. That's your taqwa. How you think 10 times before you do something? That is your taqwa. Do it now. We don't need a special holy month to make it happen. Do it now. And number 3, crying in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, begging for His help. Crying. Today, the channels of the world due to global warming have dried up. The Euphrates is drying up. Rivers are drying up. All these statistics and news we're hearing from around the world that water is drying up. You know what dried up first? These 2 channels, they have dried up. Rasulullah ﷺ is making dua to Allah. Oh Allah, if we are destroyed tomorrow, who will convey the message of your deen? Who will be believers in you, Ya Allah? It's not about us. It's not about who we are. It's what you've given us. It's what you've made us. And it's what we've dedicated our lives to the cause of doing, is propagating the message of Islam. Oh Allah, if we die tomorrow, who will be left? It wasn't because of their valor and heroic actions that they won Badr. It's because Allah won it for them. That's called bringing down the help of Allah. I ask myself, where am I from that? What will take away the help of Allah? We turn to Uhud. Number 1, intending the dunya. Wanting something from the world. Minkum man yuridu dunya wa minkum man yuridu al-akhirah. Allah's telling us the whole story in the Quran. I don't want to take the time by going into it, but to abstract from it. Why did those Sahabas come down from that hillock? Is because their eyes were on the spoils of war. Minkum man yuridu dunya. Some of you wanted the world. Wa minkum man yuridu al-akhirah. But some of you wanted the next world. And it doesn't matter how many of us want the next world. If any of us wants this world, Allah's help will stop. Look at Muslims today. We are dying for this world. We are running after this world like the world is running after this world, when Allah has taught us that your world is written for you. If you don't get to it by Allah, it's going to come to you on a silver platter. But that's only if we believe. intending the dunya. Number two, differing with our opinions. Where aren't the Muslims divided? Where aren't the Muslims differing with one another? One brother said to me a week or two ago, Imam, this is all the result of the fact that we don't have a true leader to lead the ummah. I say, talking about true leader, no one listens to one person in the house. Kaun kiska sunta hai? Who listens to anyone? No one listens to anyone in the house. No one listens to anyone in the work. No one listens to anyone in the masjid. No one wants to listen to anyone. And you're thinking one figure is going to stand up and fix our problem. If we can't fix ourselves, no one's going to fix us. Because we as humans have a critique and a critical eye where we'll constantly take out the faults of every person until there's no one left on this earth except ourselves that's perfect. When we intend the dunya, when we differ in our opinions with one another, yes, there's differences in fiqh, and yes, there's differences of school of thought, and yes, there's different sects of Islam, but those differing is not to make us different. When I look down at another Muslim feeling I'm better than them or they're worse than us, Allah's help is stopping. Done. Allah doesn't need to help a people whose heart harbor illness for others, because that takes us to number three, fighting and arguing with one another. I don't even want to go into that. We don't want to. And number four is not listening. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was telling them something. They were not listening. And Allah showed in a blink of an eye how the army that was running from Uhud turned around and caused destruction in Uhud. Quran is not stories. Quran are lessons and gems. Take it out and figure it out. It's puzzles. Your kids and my kids, if they were small or if they are small, they used to love doing puzzles. They used to put things together. We used to do the same. Piece this all together. No, but that person has to change. Our leader has to change. And this, keep on wishing for the world to change, and nothing is going to change. What stops the help of Allah is intending dunya, differing in your opinions, fighting and arguing, and not listening. And what will delay the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The story of Hunayn. إِذْ أَعْجَبَتْكُمْ كَثْرَتُكُمْ. When you feel that what you have is sufficient and you don't need Allah. The Sahaba at that time felt that we have a great large army, we have a lot of people, so we're looking good. Why are most of us upset? Why are most of us calling out world leaders and neighboring countries and this person and that person? It's because internally in our subconscious we're thinking and expecting and hoping from people when that expectation and hope is supposed to be with Allah. If X country doesn't come, I don't care. If XYZ person doesn't come, I don't care. Because the help of Allah does not rely on numbers and people and figures and powers. The help of Allah relies on your trust to Allah. How much do I trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So my brothers and sisters, what do I do? We do the four things that will bring the help of Allah, stop the four things that take away the help of Allah, and fix the one thing that's delaying the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To do that, we must become embodiments of faithful Muslims. What is our Islam? What is our teachings? If we were to summarize them all, one hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. I have been sent for the perfection of moral conduct and character. That's it. You shall never step down from the podium and pedestal of a Muslim with character, irrespective of who you talk to, who you confront, or who confronts you. What's the situation? What's the circumstances surrounding it? Our character defines us, my fellow Muslims, not our numbers, not our wealth, not the world's pity. It's our character, something that's in very short supply in our world today. If we don't become those embodiments, Allah will not select us for His help. And we will not gain His divine assistance if He does not select us. Allahu yajtabi ilayhi man yasha wa yahdi ilayhi man yunib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses for Himself who He pleases and guides to Himself who turns to Him frequently. A message that must be echoed. We need Allah. And we need Him now. And we're not going to scream to Allah and say, help us now. We're going to scream at ourselves and say, change yourself now, so that you may be selected by Allah to be amongst His chosen servants, that Allah will shower His grace, His mercy, His protection, and His divine assistance upon. May Allah make us amongst them. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. And last but not least, beyond where do we go and what do we do, the question is, how long can we bear this? It's painful. It's hurting. It's numbing us. We turn to the final verses of Surah Safat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ سَبَقَتْ كَلِمَتُنَا لِعِبَادِنَا الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِنَّهُمْ لَهُمُ الْمَنْصُورُونَ وَإِنَّ جُنْدَنَا لَهُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ وَأَبْصِرْهُمْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ أَفَبِعَذَابِنَا يَسْتَعْجِلُونَ فَإِذَا نَزَلَ بِسَاحَتِهِمْ فَسَاءَ صَبَاحُ الْمُنذَرِينَ وَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ وَأَبْصِرْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ سُبْحَانَ رَبِّكَ رَبِّ الْعِزَّةِ عَمَّا يَصِفُونَ وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى الْمُرْسَلِينَ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah grants us solace, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us assurance how long we need to wait and how long we shall bear this. And our word has already preceded to our servants, the messengers, that indeed they would be given victory. It doesn't matter about how many people are on the side of right and how many amass on the side of wrong. The help of Allah is promised with the messengers, alayhimus salam, and the help that's with our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is promised with this ummah. Inna Allah ma'ana is a promise that Allah is with us. What Allah did for our Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what Allah did for messengers before, He will help you. So rest assured, the help of Allah is with you. That you will indeed be given victory. And that indeed our army will be those who overcome. Who are the army of Allah? Who are the army of Allah? For those raised in generations of Superman and Spider-Man and the Avengers and the whole 9 yards, you see an embodiment of a human image. We need a superhero to come out of the shadows and save us from the problems. The army of Allah are not people. The army of Allah are those creation that have filled up this hall more than there are people in this masjid. They are the angels of Allah. Allah is saying our soldiers will be those who overcome. So, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, leave them for a time. Leave them for a time. Let them do what they're doing. Why? What do you mean we let them do? Because this world is of justice. Do not say justice on this earth ever again, because there is no justice here. That is why there's something called the Day of Judgment, where Allah will do justice. There's never going to be justice here. So don't hurt yourself assuming justice will be served here. Justice is with Allah. And whoever does what they do is to either build their case for them or build a case against them. Allah will judge. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is being told in these verses, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, leave them for a time and see what will befall them, for they will see. The way they're acting, is it for our punishment that they are impatient? When it descends in their territory, evil will be the mourning of those who are warned. Once more, Allah reminds, leave them for a time and see, for they are going to see. Exalted is your Lord, the Lord of might, above all that they describe, and peace upon the messengers, and praise to Allah, Lord of the worlds. These words in the Holy Quran, my fellow Muslims, is giving us assurance and solace. Allah has the matter. Do not doubt Allah. Allah's help will come and is coming to those who become recipients. The question is, can I make myself a valid recipient of the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And finally, remember, these days will also pass. What will come are more tough days. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in a hadith that there will be situations one after the other coming on this ummah. فَيَقُولُ الْمُؤْمِنُ هَذِهِ مَهْلَكَتِي. A believer will look at the situations and say, this one's going to destroy us. ثُمَّ تَنْكَشِفْ. But it will go. Because Allah, who allows the situation, who brings the situation, will be the same one who will take the situation. But then the next one's going to be tougher and more difficult and harder and much longer. What are these tests for? Brothers and sisters, faith is a test we cannot fail. Faith is a one chance in your life. We don't get multiple lifetimes, we get one life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst the faizeen, the muflihin, those who succeed in this world and the next. May Allah allow us to change ourselves, to change our condition, to change how we see one another. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us a true ummah and make us true representatives of the sunnah and lifestyle of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. My brothers and sisters in Islam, I want to conclude today this reminder with a question I feel each and every one of us must unravel and come to a consensus. For too long, the ummah has been scattered. We lack unity, we lack cohesiveness, and this is all because we lack vision. We lack purpose, and above all, we lack a common goal. As you see communities around you in Dallas, in Frisco, in Plano, not only coming in mass numbers, but establishing their presence, they're doing it for one reason. No, not because they love each other, and not because they're just good to each other. They're all humans. Humans have differences. But they have one thing that unites them, and that's their goal. What is the goal of our ummah today in Dallas? Simple question. This may give you migraines, headaches. Think. Oh, we've built masjids, and we've built institutions, and they're not going to save you. Sorry. It seems sometimes that the Muslims, and I'm going to talk for Dallas today, are in so much competition. It's happening everywhere, but we're in so much competition to prove ourselves to others that we don't have a common goal. I had this conversation with someone and I said, how many Christian charities do you know of? And there's only two that comes to our mind that are like the high level. There's Red Cross, there's Salvation Army, or there's Goodwill. Why? Because their goal is very clear before them. And irrespective if you like the person next to you or not, your goal is one and the same. And it's because of that goal you will work together. What is our goal as Muslims today in America? What is our goal today as Muslims in Dallas? We better figure it out. And if your masjid allows you to come together and discuss or have a town hall, do it. Sit down and hash this out, because I tell you, the times that are coming, it's going to be more difficult for us than you can imagine. And that's why I believe, after thinking about this for over a week, that our goal should be, and this is my opinion, the preservation and stability of Muslims in America with a solid footprint that allows our generation and the community surrounding us to thrive collectively. Islam is an embodiment of an example that when we will practice it, others will see a solution for themselves also. That's what I feel should be our goal, but I'm not the one who makes those decisions. What is the goal that you feel we have? And don't underestimate your goal, because if you have no goal, you're running around like a headless chicken. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us clarity. May Allah guide our hearts. Allow us to work strategically and collectively for the sake of His pleasure. May Allah allow us to preserve Islam in our institutions. May Allah keep Islam alive in our generations to come. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not take away His blessings from us after gifting us those blessings. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. We send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who guided us and mentored us, as Allah subhanahu says in the Holy Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad abdika wa rasulika an-nabiy al-ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathiran kathira. Allahumma hdina wahdi bina waj'alna sababan liman ihtada. Allahumma hdi ummat Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ila siratil mustaqim, siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim minan nabiyyin was siddiqin والشهداء والصالحين غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم اعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصرنا على من خالفنا، واحفظ بلادنا وأصلح أولادنا، واشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا، وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين، وخذ بأيدينا إلى كل خير، واعصمنا من كل شر، واحفظنا من كل ضير. اللهم انصر إخواننا المسلمين المستضعفين في غزة يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصرهم نصرا مؤزرا. اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحور الأعداء ونعوذ بك من شرورهم يا رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Let us all rise inshallah and form our line, stand shoulder to shoulder. If there is a gap in front of us, please move on up. There are many gaps here in the main hall. There is still ample space in the second hall. So those who are outside in the rotunda, please make your way in. Please continue to move up until every spot in front of you is full. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our presence here and give us the ability to continue frequenting His house. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله. اللهم أنت السلام منك السلام تبارك ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم إنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. استغفر الله استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت